Anthony Hartwig here with a South Range softball player profile. We continue previewing the state semifinals on Thursday with another look inside the program. And we have Ashley Rupert joining us today. Ashley, thank you so much for taking the time to hop on.
Yes, thank you for having me.
So this has been a wild ride for you this year. You know, the Raiders got to state last year. They get you right back to state this year. Talk about what it's been like going through this with your team and, for the first time of you being on the varsity level and having a solid impact every game, what it's been like for you to navigate this season and see yourselves in state now.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. Um, I can't wait to get back at the like the state level. I was there last year with the team, batting also. So I'm very excited to like see what we can bring to the table this year.
When you think about that experience you had last year, especially late in the season, like you said in state, what kind of things do you take away? What kind of things do you think you learned from last year's game that you're going to take into the prep work and into the mentality of this year's state semifinals?
Definitely like at the plate, especially for me, like you have to be very ahead. Like these pitchers, they're not messing around. Like they're gonna be pitching strikes and they're gonna be trying to get you to swing at almost anything. So you definitely have to be like all the way in and ready from the very first pitch.
What were some things that you kind of worked on the off season, knowing that this year you were going to have, a much bigger role and put a lot of more responsibilities on your shoulders this year?
I definitely knew that batting was going to be a very big thing for me since I started last year batting. So I definitely worked on that. A lot of movement pitches, dipping. I have a really bad habit of that, so I definitely worked in that like very very hard in the off season.
Being one of the players that comes with experience from last year, there are a lot of players on this team that didn't have that are kind of coming into a bigger varsity role or maybe their first year with a consistent varsity role. What kind of things did you tell those players and what you learned from last year to get them ready for it?
It's definitely very nerve-wracking the first like couple at times like during the games, but after that you just kind of settle into a groove and they just become like your sisters and it's like playing any other game. So I told them just relax and everything will play itself out.
Now, a lot of people kind of forget about this. It's under the radar, but a big reason the Raiders are here is because of your pitching performance against Poland in the district semifinals. You came in, you shut the door, you made sure that Bulldogs offense didn't catch you guys. Talk about that and being able to be in the circle in such a big moment and what that did for you in that confidence level for your pitching.
Yeah, it definitely gave me a lot of confidence. I was very nervous going in since I haven't pitched a lot in this season. And coming in for Jaylee is like such an amazing opportunity because she's such a great pitcher. And like, if she was like struggling a little bit, like I was very nervous how I was going to react to this situation.
I know you used to say you didn't get to pitch a lot, not a lot of innings this year in the games, but obviously you do a lot of hard work in the practices and you show, in warm-ups what you can do. What did it mean to you that Coach DeRose, you were the one that he turned to and said, okay, we're in a sticky situation. Ashley, I trust you to get us out of it.
It meant a lot to me. It gave me confidence that he had confidence in me to be able to do that. So it like very much ever since that happened, I've had more confidence in myself to be able to participate.
And let's just expand on Coach DeRose because this program, even before you got there, has been good for, 10 plus years, dating back to the first time they went to regionals in 2010 under his coaching tutelage. So what do you think it is about Coach DeRose and Coach Farron that just lets a really good, successful player like yourself and like all your teammates flourish and has had a consistently good program?
We work very hard all season. Even in the fall, we have open gyms, workouts, everything. And I also think just because they have a really good relationship with all of the players. I mean, even outside of softball, we go to his house and we have dinners. And I just think that really helps like build the relationship and like trust between the players and the coaches.
Now, in his coach's corner for the season preview, he described himself as more of a softer coach. Do you see that, or do you see some of the not so soft side as Coach throws to in practice?
I think he is a softer coach. He definitely like knows what he's talking about, and he'll definitely correct you if you're doing something wrong. But I wouldn't say he's hard on us, but he's not very like aggressive towards us.
When you think of maybe a part of your game that he is the most responsible for helping you grow in, what do you think you'd point to?
um for me would be pitching. I think him and Donnie obviously are calling the pitches. So I think that's a very big part of the game. And then also at the plate for me, he'll give you pep talks before the game, and I think that very much helps my confidence in helping me.
This Raiders team has one senior on the roster, Gretchen Bartels, everyone else coming back next year. What's it like going through this, knowing that, everyone that you're playing with is going to be coming back and you're going to be able to, whatever happens this year, you're going to be able to carry it right in next year?
Yeah. So all of the girls we've been playing since we were probably about 5 years old, and so I also think that's why we have such a good relationship. And even Gretchen, I've played with her a couple years in the past before, so I think we'll definitely be able to make it back to state again next year too.
Now, I'm wondering, what some of the mindset was this season. We talked about getting the state last year and falling short in that state semifinal. Going through the year, that had to be in the back of your mind. So you still had to keep it game at a time. But how hungry do you think this team was all season with that goal in mind of getting back to Firestone where you're at right now?
Yeah, that's been the goal all season. It's always get to regionals and keep going to state. Um, that's what we do every single year. We try our hardest just to make it as far as we can. And I mean, even when we end our season, we're still trying to find more games and trying to just get better as a team.
I want to talk about that regional walk off from your perspective. You got to be a spectator of that, got to see Giada Pauline run all the way around the bases. What was going through your mind, especially when she turned around third and headed home?
Oh my gosh, I was so nervous for Tiana, especially I mean they had a great catcher and they had a great throw from the outfield too. So, I was so nervous for her. She is very very fast, but like that was the game breaking point. So, I was very very nervous and I was on the fence the whole time screaming.
Is that the best game you've ever been a part of in your softball career?
That would have had to have been the best game I've ever seen.
Hopefully, a state championship will be a little bit better.
Yes.
Right. Right, a little bit better. So let's talk about the break that you guys have between these tournament games, between the end of districts and regionals, now between the end of regionals and state. It's more of a breath than you guys get during the regular season. You have 4 or 5 games a week during the regular season. What's it been like to have a couple of days? I don't want to say off, but a couple of days where you can really get into practice, work on the things, and really fine tune yourself before the next round of tournaments.
Yeah, I think it's really nice how we have like the big breaks because then me personally, I can work on things that I need. I know that's the same for other girls too. And then we can have individual practices with like the coaches, like special practices just for hitting and fielding and things like that. So I think it's really nice that we have like a big break.
We've also heard from a lot of players about how their instructors outside of high school help them in these kind of breaks. What about you? What kind of coaches do you go to? Do you have a hitting coach? Do you have a pitching coach? What kind of things do they help you with during the season?
Yeah, I go to Erin Gabriel. She's my pitching and hitting coach. I've gone to her for probably a little bit over a year now, and she's amazing. She's helped me so much, especially with my pitching and hitting too. We're fixing me dropping my hands, and my movement on my pitches has been so much better this year than it ever has been before.
I mean, getting to learn from someone like that and pick her brain, what's that like for you? I mean, being able to just learn from someone that played at Tennessee and played in the biggest games you could possibly play in.
Yeah, she was an amazing player. And every time she speaks, I'm just trying to soak it all in and try to remember everything she's saying because I know she has so much experience in softball. And it's such like an amazing opportunity just to like be in her presence.
Knowing Erin pretty well, she is also big on the mental game of the sport, making sure you're in the right mental set. What kind of things has she told you about trying to get yourself into the right mental zone, and how has she helped you in the mental aspects of the game of softball?
She's definitely told me like write down notes, like have notebooks and like keep like journaling of things that she's telling me during practice so I can think of that stuff during the game because like before an at bat you get so nervous and everything, so I just try to think right before I'm at bat, I try to think of everything she's telling me to do and just try to calm myself down and focus.
Everyone has kind of a pre-at-bat routine. What's yours? What's the one thing that you do every at-bat to make sure you're doing the same thing and you're in that right mental zone that you just talked about?
Um, right before I pray, and I'm just tell God, I'm like, just please calm my nerves and help me get through this. I know how to do this, and you do too. So just help me get through this. And then before every pitch, I take 2 practice swings.
Is it the same prayer every time, or do you kind of mix it up every now and then?
I usually mix it up, but it's usually along the same lines.
Right. All right, so I want to ask about the South Range community. We know they support you in every sport at South Range so well. What's it mean to you to be representing that school and that community for the second straight time in state?
Oh, South Range is absolutely amazing. I mean, we have such a great program in all of our sports, and our community is absolutely incredible. I mean, everyone comes out to support. And I mean, I even know when I was like 5 or 6, I would come and watch all of the softball games. And I remember when they went to state too. So it's a great like opportunity to be a part of this community.
Yeah, take us back to when you were a kid watching the South Range team go to state back in 2016. Do you have memories of that and being able to watch that and how much that has kind of fueled you in your career now?
Yeah, I remember we used to go to some of their practices, and you would practice as a like little rec ball team. I remember Selena and Jaylee were there. I even have a picture with Coach DeRose when I'm in my little softball uniform when I was like 8, and just being there with all of the girls was absolutely like amazing. To I looked up to them so much, and I think it's just crazy that like little kids are now coming to watch our games, and
Mhm.
they're looking up to all of us as players.
What's that do for you, knowing that there are kids in your position now that are watching you guys and you specifically saying, when I grow up, I want to be in their shoes. I want to go to state. I want to be representing South Range that way.
Yeah, it feels great. Obviously, it's very nerve-wracking because I mean, not only are all the parents watching, but now I have little kids looking up to me, so obviously I don't want to mess up or anything, but it also gives me confidence to know that I felt the same way that they're feeling, and how I thought that they were absolutely incredible, and how that's they're thinking of me, so it also gives me confidence as well.
At the top, we talked about the raise in responsibilities from last year to this year, and most of that comes in leadership. Next year, it's going to be even more. Every year you just get put a little bit more. They expect a little bit more out of you. So, what kind of things do you think you're going to take from being a little bit more of a leader this year into next year when they're asked to be even a little bit more of a leader to more young players that are coming up as freshmen next year?
Yeah, I definitely took on a little bit of more of a leadership role last year. I was pretty quiet, so I think I'll probably do the same. And also, I just hope my hitting gets even better, and hope to even like give tips and just rally on the team.
All right, let's learn a little bit about you off the field. First and foremost, let's talk about your schoolwork. You're a student athlete, and student comes first in that word for a reason. What are some of your favorite things to study and some of the favorite things to learn about?
Um, I think my favorite subject is probably history. I took a CCP history class this year, and I very much enjoyed it. It was amazing.
Have you had any teachers it's yet in your high school career that have really impacted your journey and helped you along the way?
Um, I think Miss Pav, Coach Pav, she's very much helped me in math. She was very, very inspirational. She gave me a lot of pep talks before games, even in class, when we were on game day, and she just gave me a lot of like life lessons to learn.
You get to see a couple of your coaches during the day in the school. What's that like to be able to not just see them in coach mode, but also see them in teacher and educator mode?
I think it's pretty fun to see them at school too, because we get to talk about practices and talk about the games, little funny moments during the games too. So I think it's nice having the coaches around. It's a very different like perspective to see of them.
Okay, going to school on game day, is it harder for you to focus or easier for you to focus when you know the game's coming up?
It's a little bit harder to focus, especially towards the end of the day, just because I'm very excited and nervous. But I think overall, I try to just relax and not think about it at all, so I don't, freak myself out.
You have obviously a long time to think about your career and your future after high school. You're not graduating yet. Thankfully for us that we get to cover you for a little bit more. But what are some things? Do you have any things that's like starting to float in your mind about things that you might want to do, things that interest you, career paths that might interest you, things like that?
Yeah, I'm thinking about going into criminal justice. I don't know if it's always like interests me, maybe like FBI, just kind of like, I don't know. I like history and I like figuring things out, if that makes sense.
Hmm. So you want to be like a crime scene investigator, figure
Yes.
things out, give me the puzzle. When you think about the ways that your family has impacted you, we like to talk about the families of these athletes that we have. So talk about your family a little bit. What makes them so special to you?
Yes, my family has supported me throughout my entire career, especially my dad, who's been sitting on the bucket since I was 8 years old, started pitching. He even turned our garage into a batting cage just so I could practice hitting and do some pitching in there as well. So they've been absolutely amazing throughout this entire softball journey.
All right, Ashley, we have two things that we've asked every softball player this year, so we got to get your answer for tallies, keeping the tally. First one is softball icks, things that make you cringe on a softball field. What's yours?
um, I think I'm gonna have to say when a girl wears their visor, and their ears are sticking out, or it's over top of the ponytail.
All right, we were in a tie with that in Nevage, and you just gave visors a lead, so visor up one. And then the other one that we've asked everybody dugout snacks. If you had one dugout snack for the rest of your career, and that's all you could have, what would you pick?
Coach DeRose loves taffy, and I love it too. He gets it from Rhodes, and I think that's gonna have to be the top answer.
All right, I think you're the first one to say taffy. We like it though. We like unique answers. We like hearing it. Ashley, we want to give you the chance at the end of this profile to take the spotlight off yourself a little bit. Thank your support system. Thank the people that are in your life that are there for you. Give as many shout outs as you want. The time is unlimited.
All right. Of course, I'd like to thank my mom and my dad. They've helped me so much throughout my career and supporting me, getting me coaches, whatever I needed to improve on everything. Of course, Erin Gabriel, she's my hitting coach and my pitching coach. She's absolutely helped me in the last 2 years. Her dad and George Gabriel and Brett Modick have also been my coaches throughout the past couple of years, and they've helped me improve so much as well.
All right, Ashley, we want to thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. We wish you the best of luck in the state semifinals. We hope that you guys can come away with a big trophy this year. It would be the first one for this program. We wish you the best of luck, and we can't wait to talk to you real soon.
Thank you so much.